Hello, it's Mr. Quartermain, and as Head of Department of Physical Education, I would like to share with you some information regarding the OCR Cambridge National Sports Science Level 1 and 2. The Level 1 and Level 2 course is made up of 3 units in total. You complete 2 units in Year 10 and 1 in Year 11. 2 other units are internally assessed written assignments. They are R181 and R183. R181, applying the principles of training, fitness and how it affects sporting performance, is all about students conducting a range of fitness tests, what their advantages and disadvantages are. Students will learn how to design, plan and evaluate a fitness training program. This will give them the background knowledge that they need to be able to plan and deliver appropriate fitness tests, some of which will be adapted to suit the skills of the sporting activity. You will also be able to interpret the data collected from those fitness tests and learn how to best feed this back to their participants. So, for example, working with a partner, so that they can go and make informed decisions about their fitness training. R183 is nutrition and sports performance. As mentioned before, this is also an internally assessed unit, written assignment based. So in this unit, students will learn how to consider the composition of a healthy, balanced nutrition. They will consider the necessity of certain nutrients and their role in enabling effective performance in different sporting activities. So for example, you would have done food in Year 8 and you would have spoken about certain nutrients such as carbohydrates and proteins. And so different sports, for example, a discus thrower may need a greater proportion of protein in their diet than maybe carbohydrates, whereas a marathon runner would need more carbohydrates in order to give them energy for them to be able to run that distance. The knowledge gained will be used to produce an appropriate, effective nutritional plan for the performer. So you would, for example, as a footballer, need to put a plan as a footballer, or if you're a dancer, and so it is related to your sporting activity. The third unit is R180. This is reducing the risk of sport injuries and dealing with common medical conditions. Now this is an exam, it's 1 hour 15 and it's out of 70 marks. The paper itself would be made up of multiple choice, short answer and extended question. So in this unit you will learn how to prepare participants to take part in physical activity in a way to which minimise the risk of injuries occurring. So for example, let's use that example of football, you would wear suitable footwear and shin pads. If you used to play cricket, you would wear shin guards. If you was playing rugby, you would wear a gum shield. So therefore you would look at the equipment, the playing surface and other factors to make sure that you are reducing that risk of potential injury. This will then hopefully relate to common injuries and students will understand on how to identify them and then how to actually then hopefully treat the symptoms of some of those medical conditions. For example, how would you deal with a sprain, or how would you deal with a muscle strain, and those sort of bits and pieces. Again, this is an externally assessed unit and this will be completed in Year 11. I think it's really important to have one eye on the particular pathway that you would like to pursue. Now I do totally understand as a student in Year 9 that you don't really know what you might like to do as a career. But I would say that during this options process, it is a lovely opportunity for you to start to think about the sort of direction that you would like your career to go in. Now the sports science qualification enables you to then take that stepping stone to that next step. And for us that would be to stay on at sixth form to do the BTEC level 3 extended certificate or diploma in sport. If we look on the right hand side of the slide, you would just see a snippet of the various sort of career pathway jobs that you could potentially do. But there are hundreds more and you can visit that web link below for further information. If I then steer your eyes to the left hand side to the pictures, you would just see a couple of examples where professional athletes are actually gone on to university to do a particular course to help them. So even though they may be excellent sporting performers, performing professionally, coaching at the highest level, doing the best research to try and get the best performers on the planet to get the best times, or to achieve an Olympic gold medal, you will notice that they have not stopped learning. And so one of the things that I would say through this options process is to really sort of jot down of what are your strengths, what are your interests, and then think whether or not that this course would be suitable for you. Students have the opportunity to purchase a sports science polo. As you can see on the screen, this is the type of polo that would be able to be purchased and can be worn during their sports science lessons, but also their core PE. On the chest, there would be the Wangels logo with the name of the course, Sports Science, underneath, and then on their back would be printed their surname. I think it's really important through this options process that you take real ownership, and I've shared with you on the previous slides about passion and desire and interest, and fundamentally there would be the expectations that us as the PE department would expect when you're opting to do a sports course. Now, we don't expect students to be amazing or be particularly the best sports performer, but one of the big things that is important for this course is that you do need to have a vested interest and be quite knowledgeable about sport, and therefore you may, for example, read a lot of articles on Sky Sports or online or from reading the paper, because when you actually are completing these assignments you will need to be able to research, and I suppose if you start with a wider base then that will help you to achieve a higher overall qualification. Some of the activities students will do will involve practical elements in order to try and bring some of the theory to life. It's really important that because we're going to be doing that, that you show a real vested interest and take part in as many of the tasks and activities as possible. When we're doing stuff like the Applying Principles of Training unit, where you're completing a training plan, you have to be able to actually perform those skills practically. And then the next bits is because we are completing the work during a certain period of time, time management is key, and you need to be able to plan your work accordingly and to be very organized, as some of the work does come rather thick and fast, and so your time management against all your other subjects needs to be well managed. Thank you very much for spending the time to go through this presentation. I do hope you found it valuable and supportive through your options process. If you do have any questions, queries or concerns, please feel free to either send me an email, you can ring up on the school number, or alternatively, if you're a student that has any questions, then please feel free to knock on the PE office door. And finally, if you haven't done so already, you can follow us on the Twitter website. Many thanks, and I do wish you all the very best through the options process. Bye bye.